Comment vous parler de mer concept? C'est d'abord une passion pour la mer, le vent, les vagues, la glisse, et l'envie d'aller toujours plus vite. Une passion pour les bateaux. Grâce à eux, j'ai fait de la course au large mon métier. Et après 30 ans de navigation, je m'émerveille toujours autant de parcourir les océans à toute vitesse. Mais Mer Concept, c'est surtout une équipe formidable. Des personnes talentueuses, exigeantes, investies et persévérantes. Toutes tournées vers le même but, le progrès et l'excellence. Ensemble, on rêve, on imagine, on innove, on construit, on optimise, on avance. On a décroché de fabuleuses victoires, d'incroyables records. Aujourd'hui, on va aller encore plus loin. On a besoin de donner encore plus de sens à ce que l'on entreprend. On a pris conscience de notre impact sur l'environnement et de la nécessité de préserver la planète et de protéger les océans. Nous avons cette capacité extraordinaire de parcourir des milliers de kilomètres avec la seule force du vent, de faire voler nos bateaux à toute vitesse. Il reste encore tant à explorer. À nous de faire en sorte que les grandes innovations de la course au large servent l'ensemble du monde maritime. À présent, plus que jamais, nous devons donner du sens au progrès pour que l'avenir reste porteur de rêves et de promesses.
Hello, everybody. So I'm talking a little bit, talk about sailing and more importantly to freight maritime. It's not working. It's working. Okay. So you understand my job. I'm a sailor, offshore sailor, and I'm used to sail on this beautiful blue boat, the Trimaran SVR Arctic. I love my offshore sailing activity. That's a mix of sport, adventure, technology, innovation. But I ask myself a lot of questions about what is the purpose of this sport? What do we bring to the society? What do we give to people? Of course, first answer is we, as all over sport, and I will say even for the same for music or cinema or art, we're doing a show and we give to people emotion and we bring people with us to have emotion and to live something a little bit special. But I will say it's very important in our society and again, the same as all culture. But our sport is a little bit special. That's a mechanical sport. And when I'm looking at my boat or when I'm looking at what my team is able to do, we generate a lot of innovation. And I believe that one of the purposes of offshore sailing is to bring this innovation from our sport to the maritime industry. And there is two, I will make it as simple as possible. I see two big axes where we can work. First is to help to make some boats to fly, and using the power of the wind. Today I will be focused on the power of the wind, but I will just say 2 words on flying, because I love it. I think it's something that changed totally my sport in the last 10 years. And just to understand a little bit how it could be interesting for the mobility today. What is flying is we use this foil under the boat like a plane is using a wing, and we fly above water. And because we're flying and the hull is now touching the water, there is less drag. Means that on a sailing boat like this, if you take the same energy of the wind, you're going faster, and you can try to win races or break records. But you can also choose to go at the same speed, for example, with a motorboat. And in this case, you use less energy to travel at the same speed. And honestly, it's something that looks interesting, and that's something, for example, we developed with this electrical boat. And I think that there is plenty of things to do in the next years with this flying boat. But again, that's not my main topic for today. I will more talk about using the wind for the maritime freight. And it's what we're doing with Vela. Just small figure about the maritime freight now. We asked you just before how you feel involved in the maritime world and in the maritime freight. I have to say that 90% of what we're using, the good we're using in Europe, are traveling with, by ship on the sea. So it means that we are all involved on this. Even if you're not a sailor, even if you're living in the mountain, you use products that travel by the sea. This is huge. This 90% of goods, it means that there is a lot of ships, and it consumes a lot of fossil fuel. It's a lot of emission of CO2. On the last COP, they say that if the maritime industry was a country, it will be one of the, in the top 10 of the worst country for emission of CO2. It's 1 billion ton equivalent of CO2. This is huge. The IMO, so International Maritime Organization, put ambitious targets to reduce these emissions. And there's plenty of different technology that we develop. There's a lot of research to try to reduce these emissions. But before you will understand that I'm optimist about technology, I'm optimist about solutions. But before to talk about this great solution, which is using the wind, I want just to say that the best and the obvious solution is to reduce this maritime freight. We need to reduce our global mobility, and we need to reduce our consumption of goods that's traveling from the other part of the world. I will just give you a stupid small example. I'm drinking a lot of coffee and I'm eating a lot of chocolate. Imagine I'm maybe not the only one in this room. And I'm French, living in France, and as you know, we don't, there is no cacao and coffee tree in our garden. So it means that these products are coming from the other part of the world. Honestly, I'm giving this example because the coffee is something pretty social, and it's not, we're all drinking coffee. Not maybe as much as mine, but a lot. And I'm okay to reduce this. If I'm okay to reduce chocolate, I'm okay to reduce coffee. It's probably good for my own health, but it's also good for the planet. But at the same time, I don't want to stop totally this. So I think we need to reduce, and at the same time, I want to have on our mind that tomorrow, in 10 years, 20 years, we can maybe eat one little bit of chocolate or have a coffee with a friend. We just need to change. I'm giving this example because it's a simple example of coffee that we're drinking every day. And I don't want to live in a world where we shut down all mobility. I think the way we're having our mobility in the world is not good. But at the same time, I don't want to live in a world tomorrow where there is no mobility, we don't have any exchanges in between countries. I think it's good. So my job as a sailor is to try to develop technology or ideas to make it possible in the future in a world where we're not using fossil fuel. So my conviction is that tomorrow, to go far away and to travel goods from one part of the world to another part of the world, the only solution is the wind. It's to reuse the wind, of course, because we did it for a century. We just stopped it a little bit for decades. But it's not like a new innovation. It's something that I will say is old like the world. But we need to make it real again, and we need to reuse it. This conviction, it's a conviction that I share with these 4 other guys. And that's why we co-founded last year company Vela, because we all believe that the future of maritime freight is using the wind. How can we do this? So we want to focus first on one maritime line between Europe and USA. Why? First, I will say technical reason is because in this part of the world, in North Atlantic, there is wind. And I will say there is wind with that we have a good prediction, weather prediction on the wind. We don't have to cross channel or to cross doldrums or cross difficult place where it's not so easy to sail. And it's also on a commercial part, there is a stable business, I will say, in between Europe and the United States. There is products, thinking about exports, there is product, for example, from France, made in France, issue from the savoir-faire from France, that's good to export in the States. And the same on the other side. So this is our boat. I'm very, very happy and proud to show you the boat. You have to know that we show it to a journalist for the first time last week. And I think it's the first time we show it to a public like you are. Before to talk about the boat, I want to talk about people that's behind. So there is my team with Merconcept, but there is also VPLP, it's architect. You probably don't know about VPLP, but that's people that are behind all my racing boat in the last 20 years. So we win a lot of races, and I know that these people, we're able to do efficient boats. VPLP also work on the first cargo ship using wind. I will say the new modern cargo ship that has been launched a few months ago. So they also have a good study on this maritime world. As you probably notice, it's a multi-hull. It's a trimaran, which is pretty new for freight maritime. Why do we choose to use a trimaran? You have to understand that we focus on this line between France to USA, and we develop a lot of different boats, like a big monohull, a trimaran, catamaran, different shape and concept of boats. And we did this routing to try to understand what is the best boat. And the trimaran was always the fastest boat. And so that's why we choose the trimaran. You could say that I'm wrong, we're just doing maritime freight and we don't need the speed, but that's not totally true. We need to go fast for 2 reasons. First is to optimize the leading time. It's important for our customers who wants to go fast with their products from Europe to the States, or on the other direction from the States to Europe. And it's also important in our economical model because the operational cost of the boat are pretty high, and we optimize our OPEX if the boat is going fast enough. If I'm looking about, you imagine the size, you see a little bit someone in the front of the boat. This is a 65-meter long, 25-meter wide. Means if you compare to the boat I'm used to sail on offshore racing, is twice the size of this boat. But this boat will be 60 times heavier than my racing boat. Why? Because, of course, we're doing freight, and we can have more than 300 tons of goods on the boat. It means that we will be able to have 560 European pallets on the boat. We choose pallets. Why to choose pallets rather than containers? First reason is because it's lighter, and because we're trying to optimize the speed of the boat, and of course the weight of the boat, we think it's better to have a lighter global product. The second reason is that for logistic in the harbor, it's more easy with the pallets. Only with the crane we have, and with we are independent. I will say we don't need big infrastructure to load and unload the boat. And that's very important because I will explain that because of this, thanks to this, and thanks also to the size of the boat that is bigger than an offshore boat, but is way smaller than a classic cargo ship, we can access to secondary ports. That's very important for two reasons. First is, again, trying to optimize the leading time. Because we're not dependent of this big harbor, we can try to go closer to where we get the production and closer to where there will be the customer at the end. And we don't need to wait in a big harbor. Sometimes, and you probably saw it during the COVID crisis, there was long lines for cargo ship to wait before they unload their containers. We don't want to be dependent on this. And the last reason of this, which is really important, is if we're talking about decarbonization, you have to understand that the pre- and post-shipping on land is very important. And because we're going to secondary harbor, we want to optimize the global supply chain, and we can't only look about the maritime part. So you understand that on the maritime part, we want to be 100% using the wind. We don't want to be only on a hybrid system. We want to use only the wind. And then because of the size of the boat, because of the pallet, and because our autonomy to load and unload the pallets, we want to go to harbor that will be closer to the production and closer to the consumers on the other side of Atlantic. Where we are now, so the global timeline, we are signing contracts now, and our goal is to raise money to launch as soon as possible the construction of our first boat. Hopefully, we will be sailing with this new boat in 2025. And after, in the midterm perspective, our goal is to have a small fleet of 6 boats in this North Atlantic route, so we can have more capacity for our clients and also more frequency. Target is to have on this North Atlantic line start every 9 days. If you're looking on longer perspective, our target is to have a bigger fleet and to spread the concept all over the world, where we can give to our clients the promise of the 100% sailing. That's our target. We want to decarbonize massively, and means that we want to use only the wind. To conclude this presentation, I will say again, I don't want you to think that, okay, you heard a sailor coming and there is a solution with using the wind, and we don't change anything and they will manage to shift all the boats to sailing boats. No, I'm saying again, we need to change all our system, and we need to reduce our mobility. But what I can say is there is a solution. There is different solution, but there is a solution that's worked for many years and that could work now. And which is using the wind, you understand. And if I can give you a promise today is that I will do my best. And with all the Vela team, we will do all we can to make it possible as fast as possible and to make it like the solution in the next years. That's it.
Well, thank you so much. Take a seat. I've got a couple of questions for you whilst you're here with us at ChangeNOW. You're clearly a sportsman, a businessman, entrepreneur, but also a visionary, okay? You've told us about the flying boats and reducing the drag. How do you envisage the future of sailing and the future of freight moving around? What other ideas, sailing initiatives do you have?
As you understand, I'm really optimistic about using the wind. And something that you have to understand is there is a very good dynamic now with different projects that want to develop the concept of using the wind. There is first company that develop technology to, for example, with kites, wings, tools to use the wind on boats. Most of this technology is more for having a hybrid system with, thanks to this system, you reduce your consumption of energy. And I'm very happy that this solution exists. And I think it could have a big impact very fast on a lot of boats. And I think that all of this solution, and also with the people that sharing the same vision as us, that tomorrow it will be the solution to use only the wind. I think we're all going in the same direction. And yeah, I feel there is a good dynamic with all of this project going on. We have an association in France, which is Windship, that's help all of this company and project to work together. So yeah, I think I always want to go faster. I hope all of this project will going on as fast as possible. But yes, I'm optimistic.
Okay, so just as it's totally normal for us to have hybrid cars, it should be totally normal for us to have hybrid boats going for sea freight as well now through kites and the other forms of sail technology.
There will be a hybrid system in the future, and now this technology are maybe not ready. They will be soon, and maybe it's technology we will use also on our boats in the future. But I think if we all working on this, we will find solution and I will say reliable boats and system to make it possible in the future.
Fantastic. Now, you shared your boat with us, your trimaran. Fantastic. I think there's maybe a breaking news here, the images. You showed us also the timeline. Do you have clients already signed up, ready to ship? You have clients ready to roll?
Yeah, we already signed contracts with clients. So what we're doing is we offer a possibility of freight for the next years, and we already signed contract, but we need to sign more in the next week to raise money in the next months to launch the first boat.
Okay, so if you're in the audience and you've got things to move around between the US and Europe, contact François here. François, ChangeNOW, it's an amazing platform with amazing people. How can we help, Vela? How can we help you in this mission to reduce carbon emissions in sea freight?
As you said just before, we need first commercial contracts. So if you know anyone, any company, any people that could be interested in bringing goods from Europe to America on the other side, yeah, come to us. We have a stand just here in the mobility part. We need this contract, and this company that has this vision, they want to change their way to ship things transatlantic, and we have a solution. But we need you, and we need this company with us to believe in this solution, to second thing is to raise money. So the same, if we need also to have investors. So if you know any people who could believe in a project like this and who could invest in a project like this with us, we're here also.
It's reminding me of what Emma Rico from IKEA said on our panel just earlier. It's about the partnerships and the collaboration. So if you want to partner with François, you can probably find him on his stand just after this.